I'd like to start by just saying Sawadee Krap to all of you guys. Welcome to everyone at Wat Tung. Welcome to everyone who's joining across our platforms where we're live streaming. Welcome to everyone. Today is our Pali Canon and English study group, and as you guys can see, I'm traveling. I'm not actually in Chiang Mai as I usually am, but I'm still able to host these classes because we have modern technology where I can be in one place and teach anywhere in the world. So welcome to all of you guys, whether you're joining for the first time or you're joining regularly, whether you're at the temple or you're on YouTube, Facebook, or anywhere else that you might be digesting this content. Today is our Pali Canon and English study group, and we study the words of the Buddha to be able to help you guys understand the path to enlightenment and training your mind. We start our class with a meditation to be able to help you guys learn meditation. So I'm going to start this with some chanting in order to ease us into the meditation. After the chanting, I'll come in with some guidance to be able to guide you in the breathing mindfulness meditation session. Then there's going to be a period of time where it's just quiet and we're just all meditating together. Those of you guys at the temple and anywhere else you are attending this class will just all be meditating together. Then we'll come out of the meditation with some chanting. If you'd like to get these chants and actually chant along, for those of you guys at the temple, they're on the table behind you over there where the bulletin board is. You can get access to the chants so that you could chant along if you'd like. These are the Pali chants, and you'll see the English translations as well. We use these in order to ease the mind into meditation and actually get more benefit out of the meditation itself. Where during the lifetime of the Buddha, they used chanting as a way to commit the teachings to memory. But nowadays, we don't need chanting in order to commit the teachings to memory. We have books, audiobooks, videos, podcasts, things like this to be able to help you. But we still do chanting as a way to ease the mind into meditation. Every 2 weeks, the Buddhist students would come together in order to chant his teachings and recite them verbally so that they could commit them to memory. And if you look at the English translations of these chants, I don't think that the Buddha actually created these chants himself. They were probably created by his students, because you see a lot of admiration and respect and gratitude for the Buddha. And a Buddha doesn't go around teaching these kinds of things to their students because he would have dissolved his ego. He wouldn't have arrogance and pride and boastfulness. So he wouldn't have taught these things to his students. But if you learned from a teacher how to move from the anger, sadness, frustration, and all the other discontent feelings to this peaceful and joyful mental state that is enlightenment, you would have a lot of respect and appreciation for that teacher too. So these chants are something that we still use in order to ease the mind into meditation, but you shouldn't think of it as a rite, a ritual, or a ceremony, or worship, or prayer, or anything like that, because the Buddha didn't teach any of those things. If you've been exposed to rites, rituals, ceremonies, worship, or prayer as it relates to the teachings of the Buddha, this hasn't actually come from the Buddha. This is people after him that have changed his teachings. And it's really detrimental to change a Buddha's teachings because it's going to cause harm for you and harm to others. So it's best to leave the teachings of the Buddha the way they are. So that's why I teach based on the original words of the Buddha so that you can see exactly what he taught. And then you can learn those teachings. You can examine them, you can investigate them, you can reflect on them to independently verify them, and then you can practice them in integrating them into your life and training your mind. So these chants are something that we use today in order to ease our mind into meditation, but you shouldn't feel like they're a rite or ritual or ceremony or prayer or worship or anything like that. And for those of you guys that are joining us online through like Facebook, YouTube, or anything like that, you can actually get these chants by going to our website, which is buddhadailywisdom.com. And from there, you can click on the link that says free books, and you'll be able to download this by going down the page about 3/4 of the way, and you'll see this one-page chanting sheet, and you'll be able to use it in order to chant along with us. So for those of you guys that are maybe joining and you haven't been meditating before, or maybe you've even been meditating and you'd like some guidance on your positions, there's 4 positions that the Buddha taught. There's seated, lying, standing, and walking. The seated position is very common. This is what oftentimes people will use in their meditation. So I see all of you guys at the temple there are sitting either on the floor or in a chair. This is a very common way to learn meditation, but just understand there's other positions because your body can't permanently be in the same position all the time. But if you're sitting on the floor, you might have some cushion or more under your rear. This helps to get your hips up in the air, and it lessens the angle at the hips, the knees, and the ankles. Some people like to cross their legs just lightly rather than real tight, because if you cross your legs real tight, this can impede the circulation and it causes pain in the lower body. So if you just cross your legs lightly, this is usually best. And like I mentioned, some people like to put their legs off the mat because that helps to get the hips up in the air even further, and it lessens the angle at the hips, the knees, and the ankles. The Buddha put his right hand over his left with his thumbs together, and he then put that into his lap. If you'd like to use that, you could, but it's not about everybody doing it exactly the same way. That there's other options here. Some people like to put their palms on their thighs or on their knees. Some people put their palms up. Some people rest their hands comfortably in their lap. So whatever is comfortable for you, you can put your hands and arms wherever you like. And for those of you guys in chairs, it's the same thing. You can really use whatever position's best for you. It's not about everybody doing it exactly the same way. Some people like to sit with their feet flat on the floor. Some people like to cross their legs at their ankles. And then your hands and arms, you can just put them wherever they're comfortable for you. The upper body should be erect. By keeping the sternum up and the shoulders back, this keeps the mind attentive and alert during the meditation, and you can actively train your mind during the meditation. Whereas if you were slouched, the mind would have a tendency to be dull or lethargic. But if you were real rigid, the mind could be overactive or uptight. So by having the sternum up and the shoulders back, it keeps the mind attentive and alert during the meditation, and it also helps you to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose as well. So again, I'm going to start our meditation with some chanting, which you guys are welcome to join in on. And then afterwards, I'm going to come back in with some guidance to help you during the meditation. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Mahakawa Wat Tung Mahakawanang Apivateyami Sawakato Mahakawata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipano Mahakavato Sāvaka Saṅkho Saṅghang Namami Namo Arhasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Arhasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Arhasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Iti pisu Mahakawa Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vicacaranang Sammuno Sakato Rokavito Anutero Purisa Dhamma Sati Satatawa Manusanang Oto Bhagavati. Okay, with the lower body and hands and arms comfortable, and the upper body erect, just close the eyes and start breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Here you're just looking to establish the breath. A nice, natural, steady, consistent breath. Not forced or controlled, just a gradual inhale through the nose, experiencing the full breath. And then, whenever you're ready, exhale out through the nose. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. Your breath may not match up with the guidance that I'm providing, and that's okay. This is your practice. I'm just here for guidance. You can use this voice as a reminder that whenever you get to the next inhale, breathing gradually through the nose, developing a nice, natural, steady, consistent breath. And then, whenever you're ready, exhale out through the nose, experiencing the full breath. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. With the breath well established, start fixating the mind on the breath. Either the sound of the breath coming into the nose or the sensation of air moving over the skin into the nose. The breath is the present moment. Fixate the mind on the breath, the present moment. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. With the mind fixated on the breath, whenever you notice that the mind moves off the breath, cut that off, let it go, and come back to the breath, the present moment. No need to observe the thought, label it, judge it, analyze it, or even try to figure out where it's coming from. Whenever you notice that the mind is moved off the breath, cut that off, let it go, and come back to the breath, the present moment. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. I'm going to be quiet now and let you do this work of focusing on the breath, cutting off and letting go anytime the mind moves off the breath. You have nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. No one needs you right now. This is your time to focus on the breath. Breathing in and out. Hello, everyone. I apologize. Got some impermanence here. Our Wi-Fi went out for a period of time. Let me just switch back over to the visual aids here. Make sure we've got our live stream up and running. This is the impermanent nature of the world. Things are not permanent. Okay. Well, I'm not sure if we have our live stream back up, but nonetheless, we're on Zoom, so we can continue forward. What I was sharing is what I do is I invite students to read a chapter of the book series. We're in volume 3, chapters 41 through 50. And here you can see these chapters are actually quite short. It just goes from here down to this actual line here. And anyone in Zoom or at the temple, you guys can volunteer to read these chapters. And then after you read it, then I'll share some teachings on this. And then I'll open up to any and all questions that you guys have related to that chapter. In this way, it's kind of like a study group versus the way I teach in all the other classes and courses and retreats. This is the only program that I do it this way, but this is for students who typically already have a foundation in the path to enlightenment. But as I was mentioning, even if this is your first time ever studying anything about the teachings of the Buddha, you'll surely get some benefit out of today's class. It's just that if you had a foundation in the teachings, you'd get even more out of the teachings. Let's see. Oh, okay. I see somebody's sending a comment there. Okay. All right. So is there anyone in either Zoom or at the temple that would like to read this first chapter? For those of you guys that are in the temple, if somebody would like to read, you just need to electronically raise the hand on the laptop, and then I'll be able to see that. And then those of you at the temple, you can use the microphones. We have microphones there that you just press the gray button, the lights come on, and you hold that up to your chin. And then for those of you guys that are on Zoom, you can just unmute your microphone and we'll be able to hear you all throughout the Zoom and through the temple as well. So is there anyone who would like to read this first chapter?